Hey, what's up? People Pizowell here, and today I want to talk to you guys about 1980s Terror Train. Now, this is mostly going to be a review of the movie. However, I will speak at least a little bit about this now unfortunately out of print Scream Factory 2-disc Collector's Edition Blu-ray release for the film. Now, a couple of days ago, before New Year's, a viewer of mine asked me on social media if I could recommend some New Year's themed horror movies to them, aside from the obvious ones of Bloody New Year and New Year's Evil. But aside from those two, I completely drew a blank when it came to New Year's themed horror movies. Now, granted, I have been sick lately. I'm sure you guys can hear that in my voice. So bear with me during this video. Then another viewer mentioned in the comment section of that social media post, hey, what about Terror Train? And I had completely forgotten about Terror Train. So I jumped on my YouTube channel, I searched through my vast library of reviews, and I realized that I've never done a review of Terror Train. So I figured there's no better time to review Terror Train than on New Year's. And Terror Train focuses on a group of college seniors who are having a New Year's Eve costume party inside of a train. One of them is a murder, and I think you can pretty much figure out how things progress from there. And Terror Train stars Jamie Lee Curtis, who at this point had already cemented her name as the preeminent Scream Queen. She actually shot Prom Night and Terror Train back to back in Canada. The film also stars Ben Johnson, David Copperfield, of all people, and Hart Bochner from Die Hard. He played, I believe his name was Lewis in Die Hard. He was the Hans baby kind of jerky guy. He was also in Urban Legend's Final Cut. There are some other familiar faces rounding out a pretty strong cast in Terror Train, and all of the performances in the film are pretty good. Terror Train is a really well-made film as well. The movie is directed by Roger Spottiswoode, who up to that point had been an editor for Sam Peckinpah. Mr. Spottiswoode went on to direct movies like The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He directed one of the Pierce Brosnan Bond films. He directed The Great Turner and Hooch with Tom Hanks, and he directed the classic Stop or My Mom Will Shoot with Sly Stallone and Estelle Getty. The movie was shot by John Alcott, who was a frequent collaborator with Stanley Kubrick. He shot 2001, he shot The Shining, he shot Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, a pretty phenomenal cinematographer, needless to say. The score for Terror Train is quite good. You've got some nice suspenseful moments in the film. There's a really nice chase sequence toward the end of Terror Train involving Jamie Lee Curtis and the killer. The killer is also kind of interesting in that it's a costume party. So whenever the killer knocks off somebody, he takes their costume, wears that costume to knock off the next person, then takes that person's costume to knock off the next person, and so on and so on. And Terror Train just has that early 80s slasher movie look and feel that I'm powerless against. I'm just drawn to it. What can I say? Now, after having said all of those nice things about Terror Train, I honestly don't hold this movie in very high regard. I find Terror Train to be really dry. And I don't mean that in reference to the kills in Terror Train, even though the kills in Terror Train are pretty dry when it comes to blood and gore, etc., etc. Most of the kills actually take place off screen, so it's not really that kind of slasher movie. I find the pacing in Terror Train to be really laggy in spots, and this is also the kind of movie that after you see it the first time and you've witnessed the twist, which is a nice twist, and it explains how the killer was able to sort of mingle under everyone's noses without being detected. But after you've seen it, it kind of makes all future viewings of Terror Train, I don't know, it just feels like the movie loses steam. There's a lot to like in Terror Train. I like the setting of a slasher movie on a train because there's only so many places you can run and so many places you can hide on a moving train. I like the characters. I thought they felt natural. I thought their dialogue felt very natural. I liked the performances. There are some nice suspenseful moments in the film. But all in all, Terror Train to me is just kind of a mixed bag. If I did my top 10 slasher movies of the 80s, Terror Train really would not be on that list. Now, having said all that, Terror Train is still a movie that I reach for and pull off the shelf on a fairly regular basis. Again, it's got that early 80s look and feel that I can't deny. It's not my favorite early 80s slasher movie by a long shot, but I still enjoy the movie, and I definitely would recommend it if you've not seen it. Now, as for this Blu-ray release from Scream Factory, this was one of their early collector's edition Blu-ray releases, and it's a little light on extras to be a collector's edition release. The picture quality and the sound quality are both quite good. However, in high definition, you notice that there's moments where the movie's just out of focus, which is odd considering the talent behind the camera, but there are moments in Terror Train that you can plainly see, now in high definition, that were shot out of focus. Still, the picture quality and the sound quality on this release are quite good. I would give them both a solid 4 out of 5. As far as the extras are concerned, we get an interview with production executive Darn Carmody, producer Daniel Grodnick, production designer Glenn Bidwell, and composer John Mills Cockle. We also get a theatrical trailer, TV spot, and a still gallery. So kind of light when it comes to extras, but again, this was one of Scream Factory's earlier collector's edition Blu-ray releases, and as I said in the beginning of this video, this release is now sadly out of print. Not too long ago, I had a conversation with Michael Felsher, whose Red Shirt Pictures produced the extras for this release, and he mentioned that he had scheduled time with director Roger Spottiswoode to record a brand new audio commentary for this release. So the day that they had selected to record the commentary, Mr. Spottiswoode showed up at the location. They had the movie queued up and ready to go. They had all the audio equipment ready to record his commentary, and at the very last moment, Mr. Spottiswoode excused himself to go make a phone call or something to that effect, and just never came back. So I know there was effort put into adding more extras to this release. They just never happened. If you've seen Terror Train, please let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments section below. If you own this Scream Factory Blu-ray release, please let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments section below. If you owned the newer Terror Train release that came out, I think Scorpion Releasing may have released it, I'm not sure. Compare the two for me down in the comments section below. I just want to wish all you guys out there a great, safe, healthy, and happy new year, and all the best in 2020. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Kevin Smythe, B-Movie Mike, Robert Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Craig Farrand, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Simon Clark, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Lorne Dixon, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, Pete Toll, Kyle McGuire, Jay the Stingray, Andrew McDonald, Dave Barnes, Jonathan Lundy, Chris Gonzalez, The R-Rated Show, Fear Fuel, Jason Breitenbach, Brandon Bizdick, Steak Sauce, Mark Striano, Jeff Gardner, Jacob Green, The Obsoletionist, Chris Earls, Kevin Fitzpatrick, Randall Beatty, Joseph Hinkle, Hey Isn't That Devon Graham, Christian Hannah Horror, and HorrorBreakdown.com. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.